What is up, everyone? It's that time again. You're listening to It's Been a Week. I'm your host, Ben McDonald, and this is your weekly dose of whatever the hell just happened. All right, everyone, welcome back to It's Been a Week. I have a special guest this week. Welcome to It's Been a Week.
Hi.
How's your week been?
It's been good. Just worked, hung out with family, always hanging out with family, and friends.
We did have a little hangout. Maybe had a few cocktails involved.
Just a little.
It was the shots. I don't know who kept doing whose idea was to keep doing shots. Shots are never a good idea.
No, but they are also a really good idea.
When you're in the moment,
Yeah.
it's such a fun idea.
But now, no.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so before we get into your story, I want you to tell me about yourself now. Tell me about your life. Like, what do you have going on? Like, just paint me a little picture.
Okay, so I have an amazing family. I do weekly dinners with them. I have a very great career that I love very much. Great friends, amazing animals. I live a very happy life.
What kind of animals do you have?
I have goats and dogs and chickens.
You have goats?
Mm-hmm. I have 6 goats.
We didn't talk about this in our drunk stupor.
Yep, 6 goats.
Oh, male, female?
All females right now. We need a male.
I know, we have all female. Well, we have one male, Jesus, but he's castrated.
Oh, yeah.
But the rest of them are female.
Yeah.
Because when we got our goats, they all showed up pregnant.
Yep.
You know? Yeah. Okay, so you live here in Granbury. You have a great life. You have your pets, you have your animals, you have your family. But looking at you, you would have no idea that you are a 4-time convicted felon.
Correct.
Which is wild.
Yes.
So I want to dive into. I want to tell this story because I think it's. I know parts of it. I don't know all of it, but like, let's. How does this start? How does one get their first felony?
Not on purpose.
Right.
Dumb.
Yes.
So I was 17. I was a junior in high school, and I thought I had the best of friends. So I have 4 of them, and 2 of them go together. So I got 2 at the same time, 2 at the same time, 6 months apart. So the
felons or friends?
Exactly. Felons.
So you got 2 felons at once, and you got another 2 felons. Okay.
Yes. So the first 2
or felonies, I should say.
Yes.
Yeah, not felons. You got 2 felonies at once, and then another 2 felonies.
Correct. So the first 2 are forgery of a government document and organized crime. People say, well, what are both of those? So organized crime is 2 or more people in doing a crime together. So me, you, and someone else said, let's go rob that. They would get us with robbing, and then they would get us with organized crime.
Because it's more than 2 people?
Correct.
Okay.
And then the forgery of a government document was I accepted a fake $100 bill. So I was working at David's supermarket, and I did not know it was fake. My friends at the time they bought some stuff, handed me a fake $100 bill. I accepted it, went on with the day, counted our drawers down at nighttime. Manager didn't catch it, went through the bank. They said, you accept a fake $100 bill, you need to pay it back. And I'm like, cool, no problem. Didn't know it was fake. Here, I'm paying it back.
Wait, so when you got the $100 bill, you didn't have like a marker or what?
I don't think so. It was
right. This is a long time
ago.
Yeah.
So I don't think so.
But like, if in general, like, especially I think in a small town.
No, I think you just kind of like did like the little like check.
Look up to the light.
Yeah, look up to the light, check it, and then go on. Also, like the manager didn't think anything of it, So I'm like, well, that's 2 people that it went through. So the bank's the one. So I'm sure that they like do the marking and stuff of it.
It must go through like a machine or
Correct.
something.
I don't know all that.
So when the bank is like, hey, this is fake, they come to your work.
Yes, they went to the work and they asked and they were like, do you know these people? And I was like, I do.
How did they know it was you that accepted? Because there's got to be multiple $100 bills.
I have no idea. So I don't know how they knew I accepted it. But I think like looking back, I think that they had the people that gave it to me on camera at other places, not at my business, at other places.
Because they've been going around to other places.
Correct.
Okay.
So with me getting in trouble, 6 other people got in trouble as well.
Wow.
Yes. So, they pulled me in they went to my house. They pulled me in for questioning. And they actually took me to the police station. My mom was like, she's like in her head, she's like, she's a minor. Let me see what I can do. So she gets on, calls a lawyer. They're like, no, in the state of Texas, she's an adult. So my mom just drives to the police station. I'm in questioning for hours.
If it's 18 that makes you an adult, then why is it 17? Like, just kidding, you're an adult.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Because as a 17-year-old, you don't get to vote. You don't get to go buy cigarettes. You don't get to do all the other things that an 18-year-old can
correct.
do.
So I have no idea why they do that because,
Crazy.
my mom's like, no, she's a minor. And then the lawyer's like, nope, in Texas, she's considered an adult. So I was in questioning. They kept asking me about a green truck. And I'm like, none of my friends drive green trucks. And so now I know who they were talking about with the green truck because the story came out. So one of the guys, the guys that I accepted the money from, they lived in Colorado. They moved to Texas, and we became friends, and they were going out other places, passing out. They were also on really hard drugs like meth and whatever else.
Right.
And so
they were not good people.
Not good people at all. Yeah. And so they said that there's a video of them, like they went to the truck and they're like, oh, we can pass one here. One of the other brothers was like, no, the other brother put on the jacket. It was like a big snow jacket, goes in, fumbles through the pocket and pulls out 100. And the cops were called. They run away. So that's how the green truck came involved. Because I was like, who's the green truck? I don't even know the green truck driver. But I do know that they passed him to like drug dealers and stuff like that as well. So I do know that they were passed several times. So that's the organized crime and the forgery of a government document.
So now, but this was for your incident. This was a one-time $100 bill.
Correct.
Just, it wasn't thousands of dollars. It was a $100 bill.
Yep, correct.
And they give you the $100 bill. You accept it as any normal like cashier would fucking do.
Correct.
Because that is your job.
Yes.
And okay, you may or may not have checked it. You should, or who knows if you should or should not have checked it, whatever. But you took it, goes to the bank. They're like, no. And then, so they didn't just come back and be like, hey, you have to pay back the $100 because you fucked up.
So I was doing that. I was paying it back. I was paying the job back. I was, a poor high school student, and they're like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I don't even remember, $10 or $20 at a paycheck. And I was paying it back. And then the police got involved because the group of us that were doing it, not the group that was doing it was
associated with
me.
Yeah.
Yes. So my best friend at the time, she had no clue as well. And she drove because they didn't have vehicles. We drove everywhere. She actually drove them to the store, and we got the same charges as well with that.
Which she didn't even know what she was getting herself
Correct.
into.
She just was like, hey, let's go get some snacks.
She's like, of course, let's go.
Yeah.
So when they came to your place, like, was it groceries?
No, I was at home when they came and picked me up for the first time.
No, what were they purchasing?
Probably groceries. I don't even know.
Or something like that.
Just like bullshit, like snacks and
chips
stuff.
and some shit like that. And you would think, like, my question is, like, I'm like fumbling over my words here, but like the company should have protections over you. Like
Correct,
there should be like, because most jobs.
But I don't think it was the company. So I think the company was like, okay, she's doing her job by paying it back. It was an accident. I think with all the other incidents that they were doing with it, that they were like, oh, it's bigger than her at this job. It's her friends that are taking it outside of it, doing it more. So because we were friends, I think I was guilty by association.
Which is crazy. Like, look, I mean, if you would have been selling drugs and selling meth and like doing all these things or like importing cocaine from Mexico, okay, fine. But like you just happened to kind of be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yes.
And with the wrong people.
So it actually gets even more interesting.
Oh boy.
So with all that, I just got a court-appointed attorney. My best friend at the time, she got a paid attorney. And apparently, I've never looked into it or not, so I don't know. But apparently, she was saying that we had to quit talking because of lawyers and all this stuff. Yeah. But apparently, we made like the Waco News, and we were this huge drug ring / money laundering people. And she went to court before I did. And they like came at her with like 99 years. I don't know the exact number, but they came at her with like a huge, crazy amount of number. And her lawyer was like, no, she's not signing for that. So yeah, it was like, apparently we were these...
I mean, that's like life in prison.
Yes. And apparently we were these huge drug laundering, money laundering, or making, I guess, people. And that was not the case at all.
What's crazy to me is that A, it was $100.
Yes.
It was not like you were, funneling hundreds of thousands. It was like $100.
Yep.
And B, that you just accepted, like they had no proof of you being involved or like
Correct.
Printing it or any of the things. You just happened to, you knew the people and you accepted the $100 bill and like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's mind blowing. Yeah. So then what happens after that? So so they serve you with 2 felonies.
Correct. So I go to court. The first time's just I believe it's just to like make sure you have like there's enough evidence to do it. So I sign up. I get on a call-in probation or a call-in bail bonds, I guess, where you have to call in, and if they call your color, you have to go report to do a drug test. I do a drug test there. Obviously, I fell for marijuana because I was smoking at the time as well. So, and as long as they had to test our things, as long as our urine went down every time, then we would just continue on. And so we were waiting to go.
Because it stays in your system.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we were waiting to go back to court, and that's whenever I got the second 2 charges. And it was just a couple days before I was supposed to go to court. So I was, it was between my junior and senior summer. My dad lives in California, so I go and see him. I come back home. So I do start my senior year. I graduate early because I went to a different school, and I was like, okay, I don't want to go to the public high school. I went to a school to try to get my diploma, and I was like, I'm going to drop out. So I went back to the high school, and I was like, is there a way, because I'm about to be a dropout and I don't want to be a dropout with felonies.
Yeah.
Is there a way that I can get my diploma? So they said, yes, you can do it online at your own pace. So I do it online. I graduate early into my senior year. And that's whenever we pick up I don't know if it was summertime but I guess it was summertime and into my senior year. And so my best friend at the time, the same girl from the first 2 felonies.
So the one that was driving around.
Correct.
Okay.
She goes off to college, and I go and visit her. She comes into some friends, and they live in a different state from Oklahoma because that's where she's in college at. They go to live in a different state, and they're like, hey, you have really good weed. Why don't you bring some up so we can try it? So she does that. And they were like, let's FedEx it to where they live. And she was like, okay. So me and her do it one time. Everything goes smooth. She does it a couple times without me. And then we do it again together. And everything about the second time just didn't set right with me. Like it was 2 brothers. The brothers were like, they got in a fight. So they were like, send them separately, do this, whatever. And so the person that we were getting, our weed dealer at the time was like, okay, y'all are being shady. Y'all, I'm done like supplying this right now. So this is terrible. So we're walking through, I want to say the Parks Mall, and we see 2 guys, and she approaches them and she's like, hey, do you know where to get weed? And they're like, yeah, we got it. How much do you want? So we wait, we go get weed from them. We send it off. It just, everything about that just I was like, oh, I'm done with it. I was like, after this, I'm done. I was like, I don't care what you do, but I'm done. The brothers fighting, the money situation's not right. Just everything about it is just not right with it. Because
now you're kind of becoming a dealer.
Yeah.
Because you're like.
Yeah, through the mail also. Not just like, yes, like.
But you're buying it and then they're paying you back, or you're shipping it. So you're it's okay.
Yes. So it was just a lot. And I was like, I'm like, we're already looking at trouble for this. Like, and
you're on probation from your.
So I'm not on probation yet, but I'm going to sign for probation. So I've gone to court. I've gone through the pass through, and the next probation for the first 2, I'm going to sign for 5 years probation.
Okay.
So we send the package off, and I told her, I said, I'm washing my hands of it. I'm done. And she was like, all right, cool. Well, a couple days later, she's like, hey, let's go to Cleburne. And I was like, okay. And so we go to Cleburne, and
that's a town here.
Correct.
Yeah.
I was like, why are we going to Cleburne? She's like, I need to get some stuff from Walmart. And I was like, okay. And so we go to Cleburne, and we pull up to the FedEx place. And I said, what the hell are we doing here? And she was like, come on. They said our package got lost or something with our package. We need to go in. And I was like, dude, I told you I was done. And she was like, I know, but let's just go in. So I said, okay. So I go in, and we both go in. And at the same time we go in, 2 people walk in after us. And I said, oh, fuck. It was detectives. And so they questioned us, and he was like, I'll see you soon. He let us go, and he was like, I'll see you soon. And so I told her I'm driving, and I got in the car, and I called my mom, and I said, I'm bawling. And I said, Mom, I really screwed up. And she said, what did you do this time? And I said, I was trying to FedEx weed and got caught. And she said, what were you thinking? And I was like, obviously I wasn't. And so she was like, you have court for probation like within the next couple of days. And I was like, I know, I got to call the lawyer and tell him. And she was like, okay. So I called my lawyer. We had to still go through court, but he said, do not sign for probation, because if you sign for probation, then you'll be revoking your probation once they pick up these other 2 charges on you, because I haven't been charged with the other ones. But talking to the detectives and everything, he said, I will see you again.
Right.
That they're going to, I'm already in trouble again. So he said, don't sign it. We'll do a pass through and we'll figure it out. And I said, okay. So court came through. We did a pass through, and they waited. And then my mom was in contact with the detectives, and they were like, a warrant hasn't come out yet, but once it does, I'll let you know. And my mom's like, okay, cool. And so it finally came out. And my mom calls the jail, and they're like, okay, what all can she take in? And they're like, 6 pairs of white underwear, 6 bras, socks. And so I loaded up I'll put that all on.
Because at this point, you're going to turn yourself in.
Correct.
Before you knew that they were even going to charge you?
So I didn't know for sure, but I assumed they were, because how he was like, you're going to...
I'll see you soon.
Yes, I'll see you soon. And even same thing with like the first ones. I had to go to jail, and I did a walkthrough. So what a walkthrough means, they arrest you. You have bail bondsmen right there ready to bond you out. So I was out on bond from the first one. So I did do I forgot that part of it. So they did arrest me for the first 2 before I went to court.
Yep.
They arrested me, and my mom had everything set up for me to walk through, get my fingerprints, all of that, and then immediately be released through bail bonds.
And what is that? You just have to pay that?
Yes, you have to pay that. And so being bailed out means that you don't skip bond. You pay a percentage of it. And I think it's like 10%. It might be more, but I believe at the time it was 10%. Don't ask me what that was, because I don't remember. But my mom had it all set. So I walked in there for a couple hours and walked out immediately to go to court. So I did that, and then I went to court and that's whenever I was supposed to sign the 5 years probation.
So that way you're not in jail
The
while
whole
you're
time.
waiting
Yes,
to go to
because
court.
if you're in jail, because if you don't get bonded out, then you'll be in jail the whole time until you go back to court and continue on. So with that, I was like,
No. Yeah.
yeah, I went out because I wasn't expecting
To get more.
to get more.
How did FedEx catch you guys?
So I think that I think they used like big scanners and stuff, and we were dumb, and we had 4 big things of Folgers coffee, and we had weed in it. So they're like, who the hell is sending 4 things of Folger coffee? Because it's not a rare thing.
And it's like linked to your credit card too. Like
Yeah.
when they look the tracking number, they can see who purchased and paid for it.
Yes. So I think that's it. And I do believe that my friend was in contact with him. And that's why I think that the detectives walked in immediately, because she was like, I'm not 100% sure, but that's what makes sense in my head, that she was like, oh, we're going to come revisit the package. And so that's when we show up, and the FedEx was like, oh, they're dumb and they're coming back.
Or do you think she made a deal with them to be like...
No, because in the long run, she got everything I got.
Right.
So I don't...
Not like she made a deal. They weren't like, bring your buddy and you will go easier on you.
Correct. So she got everything I got. So I don't think so with that. I just think that we were young and dumb.
Young and dumb.
Super dumb.
Really
super
dumb.
dumb. And so, yeah.
Okay, so your mom calls and you're like, I'm going to turn myself in. They said you can bring 6 pairs of white underwear.
Yes.
And all things. So you're now...
Load up, and my mom and my aunt take me to jail in Cleburne.
And what is that feeling of like the drive there?
Oh, nervous. I just turned 18 too. So 17, I just turned 18 and went to jail like 4 days later. So I was like, I'm going to get beat up. I don't know any of these things. Like, it's scary.
Honestly, going to prison or jail is like one of my biggest fears.
Yeah, it's scary.
Like, and also to be wrongly accused, like,
I did it, but it was also really stupid.
Yeah.
But so this is like jumping forward and backwards. I was hanging out with really bad people. They were on really hard drugs, and they were doing all of these things. And me and my mom have always had a really good relationship. But I have siblings, and I have an older sister, and me and her were not close. She was very disappointed in me. I, at that time, hated her because she was actually trying to look out for me. But I'm like, oh no, I know best.
Right. Of course.
And so, me and her did not have a relationship, my own fault. And so looking back, I can say that it saved me. And people were like, whoa, because we were actually talking about it on Sunday at baseball. And I said, who knows where I would have been without this? I said, I was going down a real ugly, trashy, disgusting path. I said, my friends were already doing meth. I said, and I told them, don't do it around me. But I said, the next step would have been doing it around me. The next step would have been, let me try it. And I said, hell, I'd have been pregnant with 3 kids and you would have had custody of him and we still would have hated each other. I said, so as hard as all of that was and as dumb and as young, I said, for me, it was good.
That one of my friends, Maria, she's been on the podcast. She similar but different, but she was going down a rough path of like, drugs and all the things, and she ended up getting pregnant, and it changed her whole life. And
Yes.
she says to this day, like, it saved me.
Yes, and I do think that saved me. So, in a really, like, at that time, like, back then, I was like, oh my God, my whole life's ruined. But now, like, looking back and being mature enough to be like, you got saved in a way, like,
Right.
because you were hanging out with some not good people.
I mean, yeah, like, you could have died. You could have been homeless. You could have been,
so much.
so many.
Yes.
You could, like I said, you could have had 3 kids and no custody. Like, it could have gone in so many different directions.
Yes. So, I turned myself in. My mom crying, kissing me, all the things.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was terrible. Do the whole thing there. Stripped down. It was not as intense as the other one though, but we'll get into that. Do the whole thing. They book me and I go in. They give you, I'm wearing black and white stripes. They give me
like just like the movies. Like
yeah, just like the movies, the black and white stripes there. They give you that trashy little bed that you sleep on, and basically that's it. So I am thankful that I did go at such a young age because I was super nervous of that, but everybody like took me under their wing. So I was very thankful that they're like, oh, you just turned 18. And so I did have lots of like mamas looking out for me because they had kids and stuff like that. So
was it just women?
Yes, it was just women where I was.
Which, I mean, I actually photographed a prison guard the other day, and he said sometimes the women are, it's worse.
Oh yeah, women are disgusting.
But it's also like, he said that with the men, he's like, it's very predictable.
Yes.
Like, you know what you're getting, like that yes, they're aggressive, but like, you know what you're getting. He said with the women, they'll like mind fuck you. There's so many emotions.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, and they're catty. And he was like, because he'll have to do, he's a guard at both. And he's like, the men, of course, I watch my back because he goes, the only reason they're scary is because they're strong.
Correct.
And big or whatever. He's like, but the women are actually much more. He goes, I give them 15 seconds. And he goes, because after you talk to him for 15 seconds, it's like, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
Or what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you get booked in, you get changed. Some of the women are taking you under your wing. It's, and then what does this look like?
So I don't know how long I'm going to be there for because
like, are you here for the weekend? Like how long?
No, I'm not there for the weekend. So I turned myself in not knowing how long I'm going to be there because my mom was like, hey, we can bail you out. At that point, I do know my bail at that time. It was $100,000. They would have to come up with $10,000 to get me out. And they're not getting that money back ever. Yeah. And I said, no, do not bail me out because at this point, I'm thinking I'm going to do some type of time because I have 2 felonies. I'm
about to get 2
more. Do not bail me out. So I'm going to be here for however long until my next step, until they release me or until I go to my next step. And my mom said, okay. So my mom, luckily enough, put money on my books and phone calls. And
so that the money on your books, is that like?
So that means where you can buy like extra stuff. Like they provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but that means you can buy like better shampoo and conditioner. You can buy snacks, you can buy coffee. So money for groceries in a sense.
Gotcha.
So, my mom would come see me. I think she could see me twice a week. And I believe every time her or somebody in my family would come see me. And then, I went to court, I believe in December or January. And I met with a different court-appointed attorney because I had one from the first place and then I had one from Cleburne. And so I met with them and they said that I was actually supposed to go a little bit later, but they had a date, so they pulled me in and I was like, my mom's not here, no one's here. And he said, they're offering you SAFP and 10 years probation. And I said, what happens if I don't sign today? He said, if you don't sign today, he said, everything's running concurrent, which concurrent means everything's running together. So the 4 felonies that I have, they're all running together. So that means that in 10 years, I'm off of everything.
Which is a good thing, right?
Correct,
okay.
Yes.
It's not like they're stacked.
Yes, so and I said, so if I don't sign today, he said they could stack them. And I said, well, what does that mean? He said, well, your charges are, I think one was like I think 1 or 2 of them was like a 2 to 20. And he was like, you could do 20 years on one, 5 on another, this. And he's like, so your time could add up. And I was like, okay, let's do the damn thing and sign for SAFP. So I signed for SAFP.
And what is SAFP?
I don't know what SAFP stands for, but it's basically like a rehab in prison.
Okay.
So I signed for it, and then I believe it was 2 months later, they pulled chain, which means they come and get you and you go to the next step. So I was in Cleburne for roughly 4 months.
But is that 4 months going towards your...
No, but if I were to actually do true like prison time, then yes, it would have gone towards it. But since I was going to a program, no, it didn't, because you had to work the program. SAFP is a rehab program within jail, prison.
Right.
So no, I did not. So whenever I first got to jail, I obviously 18, young, dumb. I had depression, so I got put on antidepressants whenever I was there. Didn't like them, didn't do anything. So I got off them pretty immediately. But because I did that, I had to go to the special needs program, which is a little bit longer. So the regular SAFP was 6 months. Mine was 9 months that I went for. I also didn't tell y'all this the other day. I also got into a relationship with a female while I was in jail.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yes, I was not. I was completely straight. Got into a little bit of a thing with her.
I feel like that's common.
Yeah, I think so. Yes,
Yeah.
and so, I pulled chain. Me and another lady pulled chain together, and we go.
Your girlfriend?
No,
Oh.
just another lady that we had the same program.
So then did you have to leave your girlfriend?
Yeah, I had to leave my girlfriend.
Well, that's hard too.
Yeah, it is hard. But my mom is a badass, and you're not supposed to write like you couldn't write jail to prison or prison to prison. So I'd write it to my mom, and my mom would send it to her.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
Yeah. I also had a pen pal, which was jail to jail, that somebody like they were like, oh, this guy's I'm writing. I think it was like her husband was in jail, so she was writing her husband, and he was like, this guy needs a pen pal. So I had a pen pal while I was in jail. My mom did the same thing for that.
But do they read your letter? Obviously, they don't read your letters.
Who?
Like when you mail it out, like the jail is...
Yes, everything goes through screening. So, but it doesn't. You can write jail to jail. You just can't write like jail to prison or prison to prison.
But did it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So you can't. Yeah, you can do jail to jail, but you can't do prison to prison or program to prison, or I guess jail to prison. But you can't do like county jails to county jails. Yeah,
so many rules.
So many rules. So I pulled chain. We drive down from. We have two.
So the deal you signed was this program,
correct,
which is 9 months because you took the antidepressants,
correct,
plus
10 years probation.
10 years probation. But you had already been in jail for 2 months.
4 months.
4.
Correct.
So you did a full year.
Yes.
Well, over a year.
Yes.
Right? 9, 10, 11, 12? About a year?
Yeah.
So a year of jail time.
So whenever you're signing for SAFP, they also don't tell you that comes with an additional 3 months in a halfway house and a year outpatient, which means you have to go to classes also once a week for a whole year. I also lost my driver's license, which my driver's license had nothing to do with it. So so people that don't have a support system like I do, that's why I think that they do go back and back and back.
And relapse and get into trouble.
Because they don't have, like, I had to go to classes, but I don't have a driver's license. I have to drive 45 minutes to go to these classes.
How do you do that if you don't?
With no public transportation. In the small towns that we live in, there's no,
there's not, and even if there was Uber back then,
how do you afford it?
How do you afford it?
Because you have to pay for the classes, you have to pay for the gas, you have to pay for probation. I had to pay and take this class. So my mom had to drive me and wait 3 hours or however long the class was. And I think I had to do that for a week straight to get my license back. And my mom just sat in her car and waited for me because we had to do it in the next town over because my town didn't offer that.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. So you get pulled for chain. Is that what it's called?
I think, yes, pulled chain.
Okay. So you're leaving the county jail.
Correct.
And you're going to your program.
Yes.
Okay.
So we drive 5 hours down by Houston. It's called, it was Dayton, Texas.
Okay.
And they have a SAFP program connected to a state jail program. And then across the street is an actual prison. And so me and the girl that pulled chain, we get actually dropped off at the prison for intake. And they call it the dog pens, I believe. And it's just this huge warehouse. And you walk in and there is, I don't know, maybe 6 chain link fences that are probably, I don't know, like probably as wide as this room, but longer, like as long as the warehouse.
Okay.
And so there's just women sitting in it, and you walk in and you're like, what is about to happen? And so they're just sitting in there, and then you walk in and there's probably I don't know, 15 to 30 of us that have just arrived to this place. And you have a couple guards walking back and forth, and they're like, okay, listen to step by step of what we're going to do. And we're like, okay. And they're like, okay, we're going to strip, but you have to do it how I say it. So they're like, take off your shirt. And we take off our shirt. And they're
So
like,
you're all standing in a line.
standing on a line against a wall. And there's guards walking back and forth in front of us. And then there's people watching and that are sitting in these dog cages.
Holy fuck.
It's cold outside. And it was actually raining that day. And they're walking back and forth. And so they're like, take off your shirt. You take off your shirt. And they're like, wring it out. So you like wring it out to make sure there's nothing in there. Take off your bra, wring it out.
Did people have stuff fall out?
No, not where I was. No.
Because they kind of knew.
Yes, they knew what was getting into. You were allowed your Bible, and I think like.
Of course, because it's Texas.
Yes. And I think you could take like maybe 10 pictures, 5 to 10 pictures you could take with you. So you kept those in your Bible, and that all went through the process with it. So we're stripping down as step by step of what they tell us. You know, we have to turn our heads over, wash our hair, basically what they said. And I was shaking so bad because I was nervous and I didn't know what was going on. And the lady was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, nothing, I'm cold. And she was like, I said, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I'm just cold. And I'm like, but my voice is like breaking because I'm so nervous.
Yeah,
like all of it. And they're like, okay, the next thing you're going to do is they're like, search, and they're like, I said, pull on your vagina. Don't play with it. And we were like, no one's playing with it. Like, just disgusting.
Like you had to like open
it up. Yep. Squat and cough, do it all in front of not just the 10 people, not just the officers walking back and forth in front of us, checking us, probably another 100 women behind them waiting for their next step. Yes. It was so.
I mean, humiliating.
Yes. And so they are like, all right, go to your next step. We're walking through the warehouse butt naked to go to our next step. They're like, okay, here's your clothes. And they give us white jumpsuits, but they're like, don't put them on. So we have to go to the next step. And they give us a little bar of soap, and they're like, hit your hot spots. So armpits, butt, vagina, and then go on to the next stage. We get dressed. And then we go to the dog cages, and they were there. I don't even know. We're there for hours just waiting. They bring us lunch, which is a bologna sandwich and a peanut butter sandwich. Terrible. So we're waiting there, and then we go through and we finally get our IDs made. And then, me and the girl get to stay together because we're going to be set together also.
Are people like emotional during this? Or is everyone just kind of like.
Just numb, I think. Yes, like just kind of numb. And I guess everybody went through it. I don't know, because we ended up staying at the actual prison for a couple of days during our intake. But other women that came into the SAFP program stayed at SAFP just in solitary by themselves. So I don't know if they went through the whole thing or if it was different from like ours experience with theirs. So I don't know if theirs was different or if ours was, or if it was all the same. They just got brought over faster than we did.
Right.
So we were in the actual prison. We were in a 6-man. It was a huge not auditorium, a huge prison, but then they had like rooms in the gates. I think there was like 6 of us, but only us two, because we weren't technically supposed to be with them because we were working the program, not in the prison.
Right.
And so we did go eat with everybody in the prison, and then we had to go take a test. But we left, and then we went to SAFP. So we were there for, I don't know, maybe 3 days, and then we got put to SAFP. And whenever you get to SAFP, you walk in, and there is a day room that has basically nothing in it, some chairs, and I think it had one table. And then behind that is 2 entry doorways, and then glass, and it has 64 bunk beds. Yes.
Like in one room?
Yes, in one room. And it's they're set up where I'm so glad that I got the back wall. So I had nobody behind me or in front of me. I literally just had the people beside me. The people that had the first 2 bunks, they literally had to deal with, there was like a set of bunks, a walkway, a set of 4 bunks, a walkway, a set of 4 bunks, a walkway. So I'm very lucky and thankful that I got the back wall, because all I had to deal with, and I was at the back of it. So I think there was 1 person and then like a little walkway. So 2 people, my bunkie, and then 2 people. So I had to deal with 5 people versus everyone else dealing with 100 people, it felt like. So they had maybe 8 toilets, all open though. You could see in through it from the bunk area, all open. And then it had 6 showers.
So if you have to like go number 2?
Oh, you're going in front of everybody. Yeah.
So, oh my.
Miserably hot. So hot, like summer days are hot, hot, hot. Winter days are cold, cold, cold. The water is either so cold or so hot. Like there's no warm water. It's either freezing cold or so hot that it's like burns your skin. And it is hot during the winter time, so that's a plus, but so hot that you're like have
Burning.
to take like a 5-second shower because it's so hot. Yes.
Oh my God.
So people always, like whenever I was in county jail, they were like, oh, you're going to a snitch program. Oh, you're going to a snitch program. So I was like, oh, this is going to be scary because I don't know what I'm getting myself into with that. So yes and no, it is. I can see both sides of it.
Right.
Me not having a true drug problem. I smoked marijuana, but it was never a addict type thing. So I'm going to this place with addicts of any and every kind of drug you can think of, from heroin, from kids. Like I was there with a girl that was, I think, 20, and her dad shot her up with heroin for the first time at 12. Yes.
Oh
like,
my God.
yes, terrible, terrible stories. I'm also in the special needs one. And so I'm in there with people that are hearing voices. I'm in there with people that are so depressed. I'm in there with prostitutes that sold their body for drugs. I'm in there with just these crazy amount of people that have had terrible, terrible, terrible lives being brought up. And I had a pretty good life growing up. I just made really dumb decisions. All myself, not my parents, not like circumstances, like anything like that. It was me that made the choices, not. So it was very, very strict. So weekends we did get to like lounge around, but during the week, Monday through Friday, if you wanted breakfast, you had to be up at 4:30 to go to breakfast.
In the morning?
Yes.
Breakfast is at 4:30 a.m.?
Yes.
Okay.
And so if you didn't want breakfast, everything else started at 6 or 6:30. So I think it was 6:30. 6:30, feet on the floor. So that means that you have to sit up out of your bed. So this is where people say it's a snitch program, because we're in this place where there's no rules. They've lived this in this world where they've had no rules. So this is where it becomes a snitch program, because you hold everybody accountable. So the rule is at 6:30, if your feet aren't on the ground, then I can write you up. So say that you don't want to get up that day. So I just go over there and I say, Ben doesn't want to get up, and I write the reason and I fold it and I put it in a box, and I can do it anonymously. I don't have to put my name on it. And so that comes into later on. So if I see it and 3 other people see it, you've 3 people. So I'm working my program by calling you out on it. And we are helping you work your program by pulling you so it's knowledgeable. So you can't, like, traffic and trade means you can't, like, give food to each other. You can't give food to each other. You can't. There was 1,010,000 rules that you had to follow. And if you weren't doing these rules, then someone would write you up. For example, I got wrote up for shaving somebody's arm, because you're not supposed to touch in there. And we were bored. And so we were shaving her arm. And so we got pulled up. I got encountered for that. So it's all by following these rules, people calling you out on these rules to make you a productive member of society. So from 6 a.m., we had different groups throughout the day. We had groups where encounters, for example, that's where you would be called out in front of everybody for your behavior. So everybody would get in a big circle, and there'd be 2 chairs, and the person would say, for me, I got encountered for shaving the arm. So all you have to do is you have to sit with your hands and feet flat, hands on your knees, and you can't say anything but thank you, or I'll work on it. You can't argue, you can't say nothing. So whoever wants to, I think they did like 3 or 4 people, they would come in and they were like, I'm pulling you up on your behavior for shaving somebody's arm, and they can let you have it. You're not supposed to be touching people. That's disgusting, blah, 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 blah. And all you can say is, thank you, I'll work on that. And so the next person comes and says whatever they want.
This is like The Handmaid's Tale.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, this is like full on like torture camp.
Yes and no, but you have to think, because if you have done drugs your whole life.
Right. It's hard because
yes. And so they had, like, one of the things where everybody had to write your life story, and like people are telling their life stories and people are in tears and crying, terrible, terrible life stories. And here my life story is. And the counselor was like, that's not all your life story. And I'm like, how are you going to tell me what my whole life story is? Like, I
trust me, I know I shouldn't fucking be here.
Yeah. You're an addict. What's your drug of choice? And I was like, marijuana. And I was like, and had a really cool counselor. I said, and according to my paperwork and all my testing I'm done, I'm not an addict. I'm a substance abuser, not an addict. And so there was racism, but it was towards, we had counselors that were certified counselors, but they would turn the pod on blacks against whites because we didn't have the same life as them. And it was a terrible things. There were more fighting on the SAFP side than the state jail side.
Because you're dealing with mentally unwell people.
So many mentally unwell people.
Like, was it scary to go to sleep?
Yes, it was. And then you just kind of got used to it because same thing, guards are walking throughout it. We were on lockdown. That means they locked down the prison, the program prison, whatever. And you don't leave. You just stay on your bunk for 24 hours for 7 days. And that means they're searching for everything. They're searching for drugs. They're searching for alcohol.
You don't get out of your bunk?
No, you can get out to go pee. They bring you food. They bring you like sack lunches.
And you just sit on your bed.
You just sit on your bunk and they go through everything. So they come in and they literally take everything out and you have to fit it all back into you're allowed a little lockbox under your bed. And so they take everything out. Yes. So that was miserable. I did get a job in the kitchen for a short time. And I remember them opening a big thing of green beans and a grasshopper was in the green beans. Yeah.
What?
Yep. A dead little grasshopper on the cans of green beans and they just pulled it out and poured it and continued. And that was kind of scary too, because so there were 3 SAFPs and then there were 6 state jail. State jail girls have a time, like unless they do something terrible, it doesn't matter what they do. They just do it. And they have a release date that they're getting out on January 1st. They're getting out January 1st. They have a set amount of time. So if they were to fight us, we would have to we have to work our program in order to get out. And if people mess with their program, then they're going to prison. Like if I messed up my program, I'd be going to prison. So it was kind of scary for us to be with the state jail girls because you could hear them through the walls, like fighting and stuff. It was like, you're like, okay, stay away from them. But then you go to work with them. Luckily nothing ever happened with me.
So you didn't have any fights?
No, I didn't have any fights. We did have where we did anytime we would walk to lunch and stuff, we would march and sing songs. Don't ask me to any of them because they were all made up. We got to make them up. And I believe once a month we went into chapel and we had a big meeting with all the pods and graduations and stuff. People that graduated, they got to go up on stage and do a speech. And so, yeah, I was there for 9 months. I didn't have a drug problem. I mean, I had a marijuana problem, but I was not an addict, and I was in there with really hard addicts.
And were there serial killers in there?
No, not where I was.
They're high level prison.
Yeah, that's where the first prison I was. There, where I did the intake. Yes, there were murders and stuff over there. Not where I was. A lot of mine were just drug related, and
maybe a little insane.
Oh, yeah, definitely insane.
It's just, I mean, wow, I can't even, first of all, I'm so sorry. That is
Thank you.
Fucking crazy. What's crazy is I mean, and maybe it's because I lived in California for so long, but weed, it's like smoking a cigarette.
I know.
When you go to a restaurant in LA, people are smoking weed outside like a cigarette.
Yeah.
It is not. It is so legalized. It is decriminalized. It is all. So it's the fact that you had to do all. I mean, again, you probably should not have been FedExing weed.
Right.
I get that, but it's not like you fucking murdered someone. It's not like you did these crazy crimes. You accepted $100 bill as your job, which should have protections over you. I still stand by that. Your job should have protections over you.
Yep.
That should not have been your fault. And then the weed thing, I'm just okay, weed.
Right. And then not only did I get the 2, I got 2 more on top of them.
Right. So then it turns into 4. So it's so now, and first of all, I would have got, the only thing about prison, I would have gotten really skinny because there's no way I could eat that food. I would go hungry.
Well, you also get money on your books and you can buy commissary and do, I know how to make a prison cake.
Oh my God. And what about your boredom? You have to just
No, because there was so much stuff going on through the day.
It kept you entertained.
It kept you going.
Did the 9 months kind of go by, or was it did it?
No, it definitely drug ass. But you could buy makeup on commissary. You could buy. ice cream. Like there was like there were games. We couldn't play like card games because
Gambling.
gambling exactly, gambling, but we would just make up bullshit games. On Halloween one year, which is not like a very common thing that they did, our guards let us dress up and do like a little runway with that. So how do you dress up in SAFP? Well, you get toilet paper and you get it wet and you put it on your arm and then you make it look like a scar with with red lipstick. So we,
You got creative.
very
At least
creative. Yeah.
So, okay. So again, I'm so sorry to go through that. It's fucking crazy. Fast forward to your release date.
Okay. So I get released.
Like, what is that moment like?
It's, I'm going home, but I'm not going home because I have to go to a halfway house.
Right.
So I put on street clothes that aren't mine, someone else's street clothes that I put on. And then I drive 5-6 hours to Fort Worth and I go to the halfway house and it's the same idea. They're holding you accountable. That's the first time in the free world that I got to see my mom. My mom and family came and see me at least once a month while I was there. And so whenever I was at the halfway house, it's also a program. So the first pass I had was a 2-hour pass, and my mom and sister got to bring me hygiene. So they brought me hygiene, and I saw them. And then,
so a halfway house, can you leave?
Yes, but you have to get permission. And so you have to.
Could you be like, it's my cousin's baseball game?
No, absolutely not.
Oh.
So we left, and you could look for work. During the week, they would give you bus passes. And so I got real familiar with the bus passes. And luckily, my mom cleans houses. So you had to work your weekends up also. So it started with 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. If you didn't have your money saved, 12 hours was the max. If you had $250 from a job, you could spend the night for 24 hours. If you had 500, you could save 48 hours. So on my, because I lived so far away from the halfway house, I think I made it to like a 6-hour pass. And then my counselor was like, hey, let's go ahead and give you a 10-hour pass because you live so far away. You've been doing fine. Let's do that. And I was like, okay. And so my mom had a house to clean. And so I cleaned a house with her and I made my first money. So then I jumped the 12-hour pass and went straight into a 24-hour pass. So my 24-hour pass, I worked again. And so I got immediately and you had to give it to the halfway house for them to hold on. So whenever you get out, because you're immediately going to start seeing probation
give you money.
When out. So they'll give you back your money so you can give that to probation.
And how long were you in the halfway house?
3 months.
Okay.
So yeah, you're encountered. You have to look for a job. Talking to boys are living there, but you can't talk to them. If you get caught talking to them, then you lose your program and who knows what's going to happen to you at that point. So, 3 months goes by pretty fast. My girlfriend actually shows back up at this time. The girl that she comes and sees me. So I get out of the halfway house and I go home and I have to find a job at this time. So I'm like, what for felonies? What am I going to do? I'm 19 years old. And so I apply at Slotchke's, and the manager was like, I have to do a background check on you. And I said, I will fill that background check. And he crinkled up the paper and he said, I'm not doing a background check on you. I'm going to hire you anyways. And I said, really? And he said, yes. And I was like, okay. So I worked there for a little bit and they found a way to promote me within because they couldn't promote me because I still wouldn't pass a background check. So they said that I want you to become a part of our traveling team. So I got to travel the United States and open new Slotchke's with them. Well, during this time, I still on probation. I go in, brand new probation officer, and I have my probation officer is a male, so I have to pee in front of a female. And she says, "Are you going to pass your drug test?" And I said, "Yes," with flying colors. And so I go pee. It's not reading. She was like, "Hey, I'll bring it out to you in a second." And I was like, "Okay." And so I'm in the meeting with my first time meeting with this. It's a new probation officer. Probation was going fine. Have a new probation officer. She comes in there and says, "You failed for so much meth and you have methamphetamine in your system." And I said, "Excuse me?" And she says, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, we'll send it to the lab because I've never done that." And she said, "Okay." And he was like, "You've never done drugs?" And I was like, "No, I've never." I was like, "Marijuana, but nothing else." And so he was like, "Okay, I'm going to have you come back in next week." And I was like, okay. So I'm still trying to travel, but now I have to come in every week until we figure this out. So I have to come in the following week. I'm still trying to travel with work. I have to tell my boss that my boss knows I can't come in. I'm dealing with this bullshit of failing for methamphetamine. And so I go back in and he says, you had so much meth in your system that we're sending you back to SAFP relapse track. And I said, I'm not. I immediately get up, go in the bathroom. I call my mom and I was like, come get me. And I was like, I'm getting a lawyer. And he's like, well, you can get a lawyer and fight for it. And I said, I'm fighting for it. And so I go to the bathroom, throw up. My mom comes and gets me. She takes me. I call my brother. I call my sister. And they were like, Anna, did you do meth? And I'm like, no, if I would have done, like at this point, if I would have done meth, I would have signed it. But I was like, no, I've never done meth. And so we hired an attorney. And I had to take, for 6 weeks straight, I had to go in every single week and pee. And that one drug test was the only drug test that had it in my system. So if anyone is on probation and they fail and they know they did not do it, I say go to a hospital, go somewhere else and get a second opinion. I wish I would have known that then because I didn't, because it would have come back clean. So I had to take 2 hair follicle tests, which is not a little bit of hair. They take
A chunk.
2 of them. And my hair was this long virgin hair color though at the time, and a lie detector's test to prove that I was innocent. But wait, it even gets better.
Oh my God.
So I'm innocent. I've taken the hair follicle test. I haven't taken the lie detector's test yet. I've taken the hair follicle test. I'm driving my little brother and 2 of his friends, and we're in Burleson. And I'm in a turn-only lane. I didn't realize it, and I went straight. I get pulled over, and he says, ma'am, I need you to step out of your vehicle. You have a warrant for your arrest. And I said, excuse me, are you kidding? He said, ma'am, I don't play about that stuff. And I said, for what? He said, revoking your probation. So they've revoked my probation for the meth test, the test that I tested positive for meth. So now I'm going to jail for it. So
Oh my God.
yes. I called my mom. I said, Mom, I'm going to jail. Because I already have a lawyer. I said, call my lawyer, figure this shit out because I should not be going to jail. Troy and 2 of my little brother's in 8th grade, and he has 2 8th grade friends with him. And the cops had the audacity to ask my little brother, or ask me, your little brother sure is holding on to your purse tight. I said, you just saw the jewelry that I took off. I took off the diamond earrings, the diamond necklace. And I was like, they're going into a restaurant to eat. Like they need the money out of my wallet to go eat until my mom gets here. Luckily, not a regular cop, one that could like take me like in between, what's it called?
State trooper or something?
Yes, I guess, marshal.
Okay.
A marshal shows up because I was in Burleson and they needed to book me to Johnson County. So luckily he could take me just to Johnson County, because if not, I'd have to go to Burleson and then I'd have to go here. So luckily he takes me. My mom calls the attorney. My mom, so I go back. I'm back in county jail and waiting. At this point, I'm not. You can't even bail out at this point because you've revoked your probation. So I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get out with an attorney because I'm going to have to do all these steps. And so I'm on the phone with my mom, and it's probably around like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. No, probably like 8 o'clock. And she's like, baby, I'm outside waiting for you. And she was like, the lawyers, like, you're getting released. They didn't let me out until midnight so they could collect the money on me. So I get out. The lawyer's like, you need to take a lie detector's test. I take a lie detector's test. Everything, the hair follicle test and the lie detector's test come back fine. So that fluke test made me pay all this extra money for.
Did they refund you for that?
Nope. It was all out of pocket, weekly.
What?
And still to the day I got off probation, my probation officer says, well, I still don't know how that got in there.
They didn't pay you back for anything?
Nope. Nothing.
Also, your poor mother.
I know. My mom is, yes. She's amazing.
Okay, but why did that test come back positive?
I honestly have no idea. So again, I get a new probation officer, and it was a lady probation officer at the time, and she said that the amount of meth that I had in my system from the P test, and I've asked, they're like, can I get the levels? Oh, no, you can't get the levels. Oh, no, you can't get the levels. No, you can't really see the results.
Did you ever hear if you eat like too many lemon poppy seed muffins?
Yeah, but I don't eat those.
I love those.
I don't. But no, yeah, I've heard all kinds of things. The girl that I was dating, she was an meth head, and I was like, it's late. Like, did you do meth around me? Like, and she was like, no. And I was like, I didn't think she did meth she didn't do meth at the time. And so I honestly have no idea how it got in there. But again, back to, if you didn't have a family, I would have, like, if I didn't pay for my lawyer, my brother paid for my lawyer. I was working at Solotki's. Like,
right.
So luckily, like, my brother paid for my attorney and I got off. But if I didn't, and I had money for the hair follicle test and the lie detector's test, if I didn't have that, I would have been back. So again, there goes the time. Like if
so many people wrongly or things just happen, or you don't have the funds or the money, and then you're just fucked.
correct. So that all got taken care of. But I had to do a lot of stuff to take care of that. Luckily, my job was very understanding. I didn't lose my job. And so, yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're out, you get that cleared up.
Yes.
And you're on probation for
Yes.
how long?
10 years total.
10 years total,
Yes.
which you have to check in every week?
Every month. And then it went to every other month at the end. And I also had 420 hours of community service I had to do within the 10 years as well. Plus you had to pay your, I believe we had our probation fees and our every year a UA test you had to pay as well for.
So this cost thousands.
Oh, thousands of dollars, yes.
And now, so has the 10 years passed?
Yes.
So you're off probation.
Correct.
Your life is good.
Yes.
But you still, to this day, you have 4 felons on your record.
Correct. Well, I have
felonies. I keep saying felons.
I know, it's okay. I have 4 of them. So one was, I believe one was adjudicated or whatever. So if I finished my probation, then it still shows that I was arrested for it, but not convicted for it. But it doesn't matter because it's the organized crime and I have one that I'm convicted for. So what does that matter?
So no matter what, like for the rest of your life?
Yeah, for the rest of my life. I've been told that you can hire an attorney to get off, to take him off. But at this point,
well, even for listen, if we have any attorneys out there listening to this story.
Yeah, I don't know.
And you want to help her, this is fucked up. Even for just principle. I mean, obviously you have a job and a career and a life and everything.
Absolutely.
But still, it's like for the principle of it, these are you accepted a $100 bill at your job and you mailed some marijuana. Okay. That I just don't think there is people out there that are doing horrible things that get away with things.
Oh, so this is crazy. One of the detectives on my thing last year, a couple years ago, got in trouble for molesting his daughter, and he got 12 years in prison. 12 years, and I'm like, I got a year, 10 years probation. And you get 12 years. I also know a woman that did a mercy murder on her own daughter and got 5 years prison. So I'm like, what? Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck?
So yeah, the justice system is a little wonky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I mean, you hear things all the time about people who are wrongly accused or there's people on death row that are innocent. The whole system is.
And like I said before, I am it sucked at the time. Looking back, I am thankful, but it was a really long time. 10 years is a really long time. Having curfew, I couldn't leave 100-mile radius without asking permission.
So you couldn't go on vacation?
I couldn't. I had to get permission to go on all the openings on Slotchki's. I had to get permission to leave.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to get permission to leave from my work. I had to couldn't travel past between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. Just a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Probation, I really do think that probation is also set up for failure because there's so many rules and stuff for it. It's a very hard thing to do.
And again, you did these things when you were 17 years old.
Yes, and I got off probation at 28.
When I think of the shit I did, I wasn't that when I was 17 years old. I wasn't I didn't do anything really bad. I did steal a fish one time from a pet store. And there's a whole story on that. But I got off.
Yeah.
I stole a fish and they were like, okay, pay them out. And the judge was like, no community service. She's like, I could make it so you can't get your license. I can give you community service. I could do X all, and I got nothing.
Yeah. But she also was a good one that was like, I don't want to ruin this person's life.
Right. She looked at me and was like, you're a 16, 17, or I don't even know how old I was, 15, maybe 16. You're a kid.
Yep.
You made a stupid mistake. Don't do it again.
Yep. Whenever I was talking to my boss, the Slotchki's boss, the traveling boss at the time, he was like, girl, everybody has done something stupid. You did something stupid and got caught. I did stupid and didn't get caught.
And some of it's you wrong place, the wrong time.
Exactly. Terrible friends. So choose your friends wisely.
Choose your friends wisely. And what happened with the girlfriend?
No, we quit being friends.
You're not together anymore.
No.
That's all done. And
that girl. So my best friend and me quit being friends, and that girl's terrible. She actually did go back to prison and stuff like that.
Oh,
yeah.
And you're straight now.
Yes.
You went back.
Yeah,
That was a
exactly. Yes.
little
That was
face.
a little face.
Wow. I mean, crazy story. Like, and so unfair.
Yeah.
So fucking unfair.
Yeah,
And
all the
so,
craziness.
and you have to like, I think about like my thing with the fish thing. It's like, but I came from this wealthy family, and I'm sure they just looked at it and it's like, yeah, okay, yeah. And then it's like, you said like, it's almost like you're targeted.
Yes and no, because I did do it.
You did, right. But
I did do it, but I guess like that name, they always want to make an example out of somebody. They want to make an example out of somebody because who did you make the example with? Myself? Yeah, but who else? Like who else? What
Is learning from
like
this.
is learning from it? Nobody. Like, so whenever they say make an example out of it, I'm like, well, who are you showing the example to? Because nobody listened to that. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And again, I am so sorry you had to go through that. I think it's fucked up on so many levels, especially the taking the $100 bill. I can't get over that one. I'm like, that one is like beyond my comprehension.
Yes.
And shame on the company. I guess maybe it's not up to the company, but there should have been protections.
Something, yeah.
That seems off.
Yeah.
The mailing, the FedExing the weed, like you should not have done that. But again, it's not like you're out here doing you did not kill someone. You were not out here doing major crimes. You were not hurting anyone.
Yep.
You mailed a little fucking grass.
Yep.
Okay, calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also legal in most states now. Like,
Yep.
I mean, okay. Well, thank you for coming on. It's been a week. Thank you for telling that story. I think people will find this interesting. I think people are going to be like, what the fuck? Because we don't always see that. We don't see, we see shit on 2020. We see the crazy.
Right.
Like, the Gypsy Roses of the world who's like killing their parents. Like, we see the crazy shit. We don't see like, you're an everyday person that was just living life.
And you don't see like,
what's it? When you told me the other day, I was like, excuse me?
That's how everybody sees it. And people like, and that's another thing that I'm so proud of because I didn't let that also control my life. Like I was like, no, I'm better than that.
You didn't let that define who you are.
Exactly.
Like you don't lead with,
No.
Now, but do you tell people that normally?
It doesn't. So my friends know, obviously my family knows. Some of my clients know, some of them don't know. It's not something I hide. It's not something I want to shout from the rooftop.
Of course, right.
But no, I don't hide it.
Like if you're getting in a relationship, do you tell the person?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thing that I feel so bad too. Well, you had to go through it because it's fucking crazy. But then that you've moved on, you've grown from it, you've done things, but yet it's still sticking with you for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
And I just think that's really
because I actually I'm single, so I was dating, and I'm not dating anyone that's a criminal, and I don't even think about it. I'm like, I'm not a criminal. I'm like, well, technically I'm a criminal. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing your story.
Yes.
Thank you for coming out. It's been a week. This has been an interesting one.
Yes. Do you have any questions or anything for me?
I mean, I feel like we're gonna have to do like a part 2 because I'm gonna have to process all this.
I know.
Like it's a lot.
It is.
And I mean, I think I asked you a lot of the questions like as I was going, but it just is.
Well, if you think of anything, let me know.
Yeah. All right. Well, for everyone else out there, I will see you next Tuesday.
Hey, podcast listeners, I'm Ken Schneck, host of This News is So Gay. This News is So Gay is a weekly roundtable where LGBTQ+ journalists discuss issues at the forefront of national dialogue. We're covering hot-button queer news like healthcare and athletic bans for trans youth, defunding of federal HIV and AIDS programs, and general threats to queer public life. Think Meet the Press, but gayer. New episodes of This News is So Gay drop every Wednesday morning. Find us on your favorite podcasting app.